Hello, everybody. To start off, I'd like to ask you a very basic question. Do you think problems cannot be solved? Your answer better be no, otherwise, we are going to have a problem. I've come across people who say that we are doing the best that we can do, and this is the most that we can do, be it for our own selves or for the country we live in. And this is what at times makes me think. For me, human best is a very fluid concept. When we were in school, even 2 plus 5 was a problem. And as we grow, we evolve and we become problem solvers when we actually have the courage to encounter those problems so as to turn them into solutions. With this in the background, I would like to ask you, what are the biggest challenges that you think our country, India, faces today? I'm sure you must be having a lot of thoughts in your head right now, and you would see a lot of challenges that we actually face today. But what I ask you today is that who is going to solve those problems, those challenges that are there in the country? The government? Maybe not. Otherwise, it would have been a dictatorship. We live in democracy. And in a democratic form of government, people are very central to each and everything that government does for them. So when we are in a democracy and the people are supposed to be very efficiently and passionately be a part of the problem solving process, I am essentially referring to all of us. When I talk about people, I mean us, and us meaning you and I, along with 1.4 billion people of our country. India is a fun place to live in. We have a lot of them. But at this very point in time, we need to ask ourselves that what is actually stopping us? First of all, before I even ask you what is stopping us, let me tell you that what do you think about these challenges? Do you think are we doing the best that we can do? Let me take you through some numbers. So I did some global analysis of India on global parameters, which I really care for. So to put forth in front of you, in terms of hunger, we are at a position which is very serious because we are in a serious category with a score of 27.2 in the GHI index. In terms of literacy, our literacy rates are about 74.4%, which is again at the middle of the countries that are actually participate in the same. In terms of corruption, you must be having an idea about this, that we are at 86th rank in the corruption perception index out of the 180 countries that are there. There's one position, one area where we are doing very good at, and that's population. We stand at 2 in the second rank, just after China, and that's something which I don't know whether we should be proud of, but China should definitely be scared of this. So now, after understanding these numbers, getting to know about these numbers, I'm sure you have the answer now. Are we doing the best for the country? Are we doing the most that we can do? And I think at this very juncture, it's very essential to ask what is actually stopping us. I understand that we were colonized back in the past for a long period of time, as we could have felt sorry for us, and probably we did. But why do we still continue to do so? Either we feel sorry for our own selves despite of being slaves, or at times we feel so fulfilled and satisfied with what we have that we don't really care about bringing a difference or even having that intent to bridge the divide between the privileged and the unprivileged. This is the very right juncture when we talk about problem solving. That why, what is stopping us from solving these problems? I know they might not affect us directly, but they do have an impact on a very large scale, on our brothers and sisters of the country at times. So, what can we actually do? At this point, what I think is that leave aside problem solving and creating solutions. We do not actually even understand the problem. At times, we are so obsessed with finding out solutions for things. We actually rush for it, but we do not really understand the problem. We think we'll bring in UBI and that would be one-stop solution for poverty alleviation. We think we'll bring NEP and everything would turn very multidisciplinary. We think we'll just bring in policies and there would be a fundamental change in the country. We think we'll teach grammar in schools and students will have a wonderful vocabulary that they can go on speaking English in the best way possible. We presume that online classes will bring back the essence of education, despite of even understanding that there are several households that do not have a single smartphone even today. The point is that we are not actually understanding the problem. I can go on speaking about this and let me tell you that I'm not really complaining or I'm very critical. I'm just putting forth my point so that you have a time to reflect on them, and if it even clicks, I think that would be the very starting of fundamental change. When I say that we not really understand the problems that are there, what I mean to say is that let me take you through an example which is there in the country probably because of a lot of unawareness. We think that English is something which can be taught just by grammar or literature. So just to make you feel relatable, I'm sure when you were in school, you would have gone through literature in which your teacher would have told you that after finishing a particular chapter, you need to learn these word meanings. As the chapter was over, you learned those word meanings, memorized, I mean, and then as the chapter was over, the teacher moved on to the next chapter. You kind of forgot those word meanings of those words. Is that the right way to go about it? Absolutely not. There's something called as etymology in which you can actually break the words. For example, in democracy, demo means people. And when I know that demo means people, a lot of things I can learn. By just understanding demo, there would be several words. Don't you think this is a very logical way to go about it? Absolutely it is. And why I'm speaking of this? Because we need to make a difference at a very fundamental level. You might say this is very difficult to do, but at the same time, I think that difficult is the most favorite word of mine because it kind of divides the world into two parts: the ones who would do and the ones who would rather not. And I compel and I challenge and why would you have this mindedness towards anything like this is what I challenge. We all have come across sentences in our school days which said that my father works, my sister cooks. Do you know why I'm mentioning this? Because when I look at it through a very gendered lens, I think this is a problem. This is a major problem. Let me ask you, how many subjects in school did you learn? Did you read? What was the language in which you read most of the subjects in school? Was it maths? Definitely not. It was English for most of us. And why then we do not give the attention that English deserves? No, I'm not doing a campaign here on justice for English or anything like that. But I'm just sharing my perspectives on the same, that we do not have the right priorities at times. And this is something that I'm sad about, that I really wish to bring a change about in the time to come. I could have taken today a particular problem more sensitive than this to talk to you about. But before that, I think we need to develop the intent to bring that change. Until the time we do not have that, we cannot really move forward with it. Thinking is fine, but if it's not followed by actions, and howsoever little or big your actions might be, if it's creating a change in life of even a single person, it is something that's appreciable and you should continue with it. We all have seen injustice, we all have seen a lot of inequalities in the societies. But who is going to stand for it? Before I conclude, I have something for you. Two pieces of information actually. One is a good news and the other one is a bad news. The good news is that you have probably known these things or heard of them from a long period of time or faced some of these things as well in your past. And that's the good news. The bad news is that this is what is going to even happen after this. So, this is not something that we can take easily. We cannot take this lightly. We need to follow certain, we need to actually follow this by certain actions. That's when the change would come. And it's not supposed to be very much glittery in nature. But having the intent to bring a change is something which I think a lot of people today lack. We cannot have a self-centered approach to it. It shouldn't be like, if the country is not looking for me, why should I look for it? Look, why should I look after it? But at the same time, ladies and gentlemen, we need to live in a very organized society. And that happens when we all of us come together for a common good. And that could be anything that actually creates a positive impact. So these are the thoughts that I want to leave you with. I thank you for listening to me, and this is Soniyal Bajaj signing off. Thank you so much.